It's so satisfying when that last puzzle piece clicks into place. You've spent a long time putting this thing together and now it's finally complete. That's one way to look at Canada's path towards reconciliation, like a giant unfinished puzzle. A puzzle with 94 pieces, to be exact. This is KN Explains, the 94 calls to action on the road to reconciliation. Okay, so what are the 94 calls to action? The pieces that we need to finish this puzzle. For that, we need a little bit of a history lesson. Let's go back to 2008 and the start of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or the TRC. The TRC looked at the Indian residential school system and its impact on Indigenous people in Canada. Residential schools existed from 1831 to 1996, hurting at least 7 generations of Indigenous people. More than 150,000 First Nation, Métis, and Inuit children were sent to them. The schools were often run by churches, and starting in the 1880s, the Canadian government paid for them. The government's goal for the schools was to force Indigenous children to abandon their language and culture and blend them into mainstream Canadian society. Students were often abused for speaking their language or practicing their culture. For 6 years, 3 TRC leaders traveled across the country, conducting interviews, town halls, and discussions about the harm that was caused by residential schools. They heard first-hand accounts about what happened from survivors, their family members, and other people in the communities that were affected. In total, the commissioners spoke to more than 6,500 people impacted by the schools, and they reviewed more than 5 million records provided by the Government of Canada. The result of all of this work was 94 calls to action, steps the TRC says individuals and institutions in Canada should take to address the legacy of residential schools. Ultimately, the goal of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was just that: truth and reconciliation. Truth is acknowledging exactly what happened to First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the residential schools, and all throughout Canadian history. Reconciliation is repairing that broken relationship and continuing to walk a path of respect and healing together. Following through on truth and reconciliation involves action, taking time to fit those 94 pieces into place. The 94 calls to action can be separated into different sections. They are how the government supports Indigenous children and how there are still too many Indigenous kids in the foster care system, how schools, the healthcare system, and courts treat Indigenous people, what can be done to protect Indigenous languages and cultures, and the work that non-Indigenous people can do to repair relationships. Here are some specific examples. Do what's needed to have Indigenous kids stay with their families instead of having to live with non-Indigenous foster families. Document how much money is going to schools that teach Indigenous students, and look at whether they're getting just as good an education as non-Indigenous students. Require that all doctors and nurses learn in training about the health needs of Indigenous people. What you've heard are only 3 pieces of the puzzle on the road to reconciliation. To see how they all fit together and what puzzle pieces you can work on, you can read a kid-friendly version of the calls to action on our website. That's it for CBC Kids News. I'm Sophia Smoke, signing off. Oh, I just punched the TV stand.